Hello beautiful people. In today's video I'm going to be doing my review slash opinions on the L'Essentiel Natural Glow Foundation from Guerlain. I know they recently just came out with a new formula. That is not this one. This one is the older one. I bought this because I was looking for a more lightweight natural glowy finish. Long wear. It says it's 16-hour wear. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, so I wrote some notes down because it's been a little bit since I purchased this, but I've been wearing it pretty frequently, not every day because I like to change up my foundations, but the days that I do wear it, I investigate my skin, see if it's good with primer, without primer. So I have my thoughts and I wrote them all down just so I don't stray and get too far off topic. So the shade I have is 02W, and it's actually a perfect matte for my skin right now. Like, I've never been matched so good with a foundation that I've picked online without seeing it in person, which is shocking to me, so that's awesome. The shades that I have that compare the most to it are the Dior 1W, which is this one right here. This is the Backstage, Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. So that is a good match. And then the Born This Way, Too Faced Born This Way Vanilla. I don't have the shade Vanilla in the actual full size. This is actually running out. Can you believe how much I've used of this? That's amazing. I have to purchase a new one. But I have a little sample packet here of vanilla that I use, and I like vanilla much better than light beige. This is my summer shade, and this is like my winter shade. So vanilla is the next best match. And then for drugstore, I have the Maybelline. Oh, what is it called? Where did it go? I don't wear it that much anymore, so I tucked it away. But the Maybelline Matte and Poreless in the shade 220 is also the next best match. So, okay, so I made a little note to myself that this is a tad too dark for my winter skin, but if you're in any of those shade ranges, Dior 1W, Too Faced Born This Way Vanilla, or somewhere around the Maybelline 220, this shade would be good for you if you're looking for shade comparisons. I don't have any more from the drugstore because I don't tend to buy a lot of drugstore foundations because I find their shades are too orange and you can't test them and you can't return it. So that's just why I stick to Sephora foundations, higher end foundations. Okay. So usually I wear all my foundations with a primer, and I usually wear the Hourglass Mineral Veil. Since we've been working from home and I haven't been going anywhere, I haven't needed my foundation to last from like 6 a.m. to like 12 hours, so I haven't been using primer. So when I tested this originally, I didn't use primer, and then I went and tested it with primer, and to my shock, it actually performs better and wears nicer on the skin without primer, which is kind of amazing considering a lot of foundations are the opposite. But for some reason this one just meshes, either maybe it just doesn't mesh well with the Hourglass foundation, but the Hourglass primer, but that's the only primer that I use that actually I can see a difference in my skin when I'm wearing a foundation that needs a primer. Does that make sense? Anyways. Okay, so without primer, I didn't find it emphasize any of my pores. I always have trouble blending it onto my chin. The pores always seem to like stick out more there, so I needed a little more blending, but I also figured out a technique lately that I rub it in with my finger and then tap it out with a brush, but that's more of technique. And okay, so it doesn't emphasize my pores. It is light coverage to medium coverage. Like if I have a lot of redness to cover up, I may go in with 2 coats, but when my face is pretty much just like normal and like I don't need to cover up a lot, 1 light layer is good enough for me, and I find the less is more. Sometimes if you pile on a lot of foundation, that's when it like doesn't perform the best. So I tend to like, use 1 pump for my entire face, and it seems to do the trick for my foundation coverage preferences. Okay, yeah, less than 1 pump for a full face. Today I used 1 pump for my whole face, and it was fine. I also put on the Hollywood Flawless filter underneath today just because I wanted a more glowy look. To my surprise, this foundation, for a natural glow, I guess natural glow doesn't imply extremely dewy or extremely glowy. It's a natural glow, which to me I thought would be a lot more glowy, because some foundations that are described as glowy, like they're extremely glowy and you need powder to like tone down the shine. This one was not like that. This is more of a natural glow. Like I put it on and it's not too, like I have oily skin. I should have started off the video with this. I have oily skin that is also dry. So it's kind of difficult. Oh, I'm getting hot. So it's also difficult for me to find a foundation that has that natural balance between not dry. Like I can't wear a matte foundation. It just sucks the life out of my skin. So I have to go for a more natural to dewy finish and then deal with the oiliness when it comes. For this one, it's not dewy enough that I don't need my Fix Plus, meaning I put this on and after I do the rest of my face, add my highlight, my blush. I don't powder everywhere, I just powder on my T-zone and on my chin, but I feel on my cheek area here it gets dry and tight still, even with the glowy foundation, so I still use my Fix Plus on it, so that's how I know it's not too glowy, that it doesn't need any of that stuff, which is very nice. I like that. Okay, does it last the whole 16-hour wear? No, it does not. With primer or without primer, it does not last all day. It does last longer with no primer. I can do my face in the morning, put it on, and then by like 5, 6 o'clock, I can see it's like kind of starting to like break down around my chin area. It does break down a lot faster when I use the Hourglass primer, which I found was very, very interesting. But to wear this for 16 hours and expect to look flawless at the 16-hour mark, I would not go for this. I would go for something else like my Too Faced Peach Perfect, or even the Dior. I would go for that. It gives me a more flawless finish for longer. Without primer, I still need to blot my regular amount, which is maybe 3 times a day, 3 to 4 times, depending on how long I'm wearing my foundation for. So yeah, I definitely prefer this with no primer. With the primer, it did emphasize my pores on my chin more, and in this area here. It also wore down sooner, so I put it on probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 5 o'clock it was looking rough, like rough. So with primer, no go. It was also fading on the sides of my nose, and fading on chins and sides of the nose. Yeah, so it was fading on my chin and the sides of my nose. So I stopped using it with primer when I do want to wear this foundation, which is fine, whatever. It'll be interesting to see how this holds up when the weather gets warmer. I've been using this during the winter months, so there's that. Yeah, I went over that. Good for short wears. Yeah, it's not good for longer wear, but it's good for short wears. It does give my skin a, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't emphasize my pores at all. I just powdered a little bit on the forehead. I mean, it doesn't completely, like, hide my pores. Like, you can tell that, like, it doesn't look like my skin is completely flawless, but it looks, like, natural. If that makes any sense. Like, you can still see I have a little bit of pores, because I didn't go out of my way to try and cover all those up. Usually I go in with different powders to try and attack that. But anyways, yeah. So those are my thoughts on this foundation. I think I covered everything. I don't think I have anything else to add to it. This feels very short, and it feels like I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. If I am, I will insert a clip after, but yeah. I did forget to add one thing, actually. The cap on this thing is so flimsy, like it just pops right off, which for a, how much was this, $67? For $67 high-end foundation, I expected this to stay on. When I shake it, before I wear it, I have to keep the cap on because I shook it one day without this thing on, and the cap flew across my room, and I had to go and search for it in my closet. So that is my only gripe about the packaging. Otherwise, the packaging is very pretty. It's got this little ball. It looks very cute. Glass, I have ceramic floor, so I hope I don't drop this, because if I drop it, it's going to shatter all over my floor, and that's not going to be cool, but it is what it is. So yeah, that is my only gripe with the packaging. I don't regret buying this. I'm happy I have it in my collection. Yeah, with that being said, that is going to be it for this review, final thoughts on this foundation, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and you guys will see me in my next video. Bye!